So people ask me every day, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, where should I move? Are they still cheap? Is it safe? Is dating, marriage really that easy? And every time I say the same thing. Sure, if you enjoy a challenge, you have an open mind, but here's the part nobody tells you. When you finally hit that breaking point with the West, when the rent goes up, when the groceries cost more than your car payment, when you can't afford healthcare in the country you were born in, your brain starts whispering, sell everything, start over, move abroad. Now is the time to get the fuck out. And ultimately that instinct is probably right, but there's a danger. The real danger is picking the wrong country and going to a place that you're not going to be able to last in and isn't going to be for you. So there's real issues, right? If you're just trading American stress for Asian chaos, scams, culture clash, language barriers that hit even harder. I mean, I've seen people sell their house, quit their jobs, move across the world only to boomerang back home 3 or 6 months later because they chose the wrong place, ran out of money, or they had their heart broken by a local gal or some sort of honeypot thirst trap. Today I'm not giving you any bullshit, right? I'm giving you the basics of what I know, what I've heard from friends, what I've lived, the truth, the landmines, the places you think you know about, but you should think twice about before moving there long term or actually packing up your stuff. And then, only then, at the end, I'll tell you where all the people who I think made the right move actually end up. So stay with me. This could save you time, money, thousands of dollars, awkward phone calls to your realtor, ex-wife, and kids back home, etc. First up is Cambodia, and I love Cambodia. For the right segment, I've been to Cambodia, I like Cambodia, I've enjoyed my time there. I've backpacked, I've eaten the street food, I've seen sunrise at Angkor Wat from the temples like every other white dude with a GoPro. But actually moving there, selling your house, in Wisconsin or Manitoba, showing up in Kampot with 2 suitcases and a dream, leaving Los Angeles because Siem Reap looked fucking chill or whatever. That's where things get complicated, right? Cost of living wise, Cambodia looks cheap and parts of it are definitely affordable, but Phnom Penh and Siem Reap, prices are rising fast and there's issues, man. The electricity bills are fucking outrageous, and that's the shocker that nobody's gonna talk about. Western groceries, Western prices, right? Anything imported, any kind of unit that has serious air con, you're just adding more cash. Imported medicine, more expensive, harder to get than a place like Vietnam or definitely Thailand. And if you think you're gonna live like a king on $800 a month, you might be, but you're gonna be living some rural life with none of the amenities or pleasures most of you will want in your retirement. This is not gonna happen in the actual expat neighborhoods and cities where people live in Cambodia. Healthcare is really where Cambodia loses most people. There are some decent private clinics and that's about it. Phnom Penh has okay options. Siem Reap can handle food poisoning or a twisted ankle, but anything serious, you're getting on a plane back to Bangkok or Saigon. There's no debate about this for me. Evacuation insurance is an option. Rural healthcare, basically non-existent. And this is why retirees struggle in Cambodia. You can't really age gracefully in a country where a broken hip equals a border crossing or straight up leaving and going home. Cambodia is not dangerous, I think, in the Hollywood sense, other than maybe phone grabbings. It's not the 1990s, but the everyday vibe, the safety energy, it's different. Petty crime is rising. Foreigners are easy targets for scams. Some expat areas have this, right? That sort of like lawless Wild West feeling. I'm thinking Sihanoukville. That's a whole outrageous seminars, casinos, scams, construction, human trafficking, chaos. Nighttime is noticeably worse than Vietnam, Thailand, or Malaysia, safety-wise. It's not lawless, but it's not the place where you want to forget your bag after a few beers either. Visa-wise, yeah, okay, now here's the trap. Cambodia seems like the easiest country, and for visas in Asia, yes, entry is easiest. Long-stay business visas, a lot of people use them, but every few years the government shifts rules, sometimes quietly, sometimes aggressively. Long-term residency, this is basically a fantasy, right? Like work permits are a gray area for many foreigners. And this is the key point. You can stay a long time, but you can also wake up one morning and discover you can't because there's no real legitimate path here, right? You're just applying over and over again. There's no stability for a full decade like, say, you can get in Thailand or Malaysia. Weather-wise, I'd say Cambodia is beautiful, but it's very hot. Like hot, like a place with no trees because they got napalmed hot. We're talking, why is my lower back sweating when I'm like pouring my morning OJ? And it's like this 10 months out of the year. Dry season brings dust storms, wet season brings flooding, transition months bring air quality warnings, and the infrastructure simply cannot keep up when these storms hit hard. Kampot is pretty chill until the monsoon floods. The riverside, Siem Reap is magical until the dust gets in your eyes, ears, and soul. Expat local sentiment-wise, I'd say Cambodians themselves are lovely. They're very kind, they're warm, they're welcoming. They're truly some of the nicest people in the region. But the expat ecosystem around them, that's where things get kind of messy, right? Like a few high-profile foreign-run scams have poisoned trust for a lot of people. There's a big gap between high-end expats and struggling locals. Middle-class neighborhoods, the ones retirees usually want, are hard to find with the proper developments and amenities. And the expat community can feel extremely transient. People come and go, nobody puts down roots. It's not stable. If you're imagining a sort of wholesome, long-term Florida but cheaper retirement, Cambodia is much more like international wildcard energy. Phnom Penh is fast-growing, chaotic, polluted, not very walkable, prices rising fast. Siem Reap, beautiful, spiritual, but dependent on tourism and limited healthcare and a pretty wild pub street, if that's your thing. Sihanoukville used to have the beautiful beaches. Now it's all construction dust, scams, Chinese gangsters. Most expats are going to avoid it entirely. Kampot I do really like, down by Phu Quoc. It has sort of a charming, artistic vibe. Riverside, great cafes, but there is some flooding, and I'd say it's a pretty limited, smaller expat community. For me, this place is great for a month-long visit or a vacation, but probably not realistic for a decade. So let's ask the real question. Can you actually move from like Wisconsin to Kampot? Maybe, if you don't need stable healthcare, predictable electricity bills, or a real retirement community. Can you leave Los Angeles for Siem Reap? Sure, if you're okay with the city shutting down at 9 p.m. or getting pissed drunk with backpackers for the rest of your life and driving 3 hours for a good medical test in Phnom Penh. Can you retire in Cambodia? Yes, it's doable. Some people can do it. Backpackers can stay there, entrepreneurs can set up there, adventurers can go for it, but most retirees, I think the wheels are going to come off. Cambodia is incredible to visit, it is magical to explore, but the reality is most of you are not going to want to live there, age there. The stability, the safety, and the healthcare are just going to become real problems, and you don't want to discover that after selling your house. The next question becomes, who's actually leaving Miami to head to Malaysia? Malaysia is conservative, it's modern, it's safe, but it's also culturally tight, socially restrictive, and not built for most Western retirees looking for freedom. Is it beautiful? Yes, it's a beautiful country with amazing food, incredible infrastructure. KL has skyscrapers that make Bangkok look like it runs on AA batteries. But let's talk about the other side of Malaysia, the socially conservative aspect. And it's not like your auntie getting upset or being a Karen, like actual cultural conservatism, right? Legal conservatism, dating conservatism, social conservatism. For a lot of Western retirees, this is a massive shock to the system. The big cultural barrier is real. Malaysia is friendly, it's modern, educated, and lovely, but at its core, it is still a Muslim majority country and an Islamic nation, right? And these values shape daily life and social norms that are just really hard to adapt to and different for a lot of Western Americans. No judgment here. I love the place. I'm just talking about the reality. You get the big city gloss, the malls, the trains, the rooftops, but even there, public life is more restricted. In Penang, you get multicultural charm, you get everyone knowing everything you do by Wednesday because it's a fishbowl. And if you move out to Cameron Highlands, you're basically living inside a postcard your parents would hang on the fridge. And the dating pool reality, let's be honest, you're not going to meet a local Islamic girl. She's not going to be into you. This is an uncomfortable part to talk about for Western dudes, or maybe just not to think about, but I'm being real here. If you're single and over 45, Malaysia is not a dating paradise. If you're LGBTQ, maybe in the urban areas it's friendly, but it would make me think twice. This is not Thailand, it's not even Vietnam, and it's definitely not the Philippines. Malaysia has clear lines around religion, marriage, and relationships, and cultural expectations around. So there's a general societal preference for Muslim-Muslim partnerships and basically for people not to marry out of religion. You're not casually dating your way down to Bukit Bintang. That is just not how it works. And even among non-Muslim Malaysians, Chinese, Malays, Indian Malays. Dating tends to be more traditional, more family-oriented, more slow, more cautious. For a recently divorced 55-year-old American, this is a tough sell. Right? Malaysia is one of the hardest dating markets in Asia, not just Southeast Asia, Asia, period. This is the country where holding hands in public can get you a side eye, where hotels can and do ask for marriage certificates, where police can technically enforce modesty and public decency laws. Again, no judgment, I just want to give you the honest reality. If dating is important to your lifestyle abroad, Malaysia is the toughest option for you in Southeast Asia. Georgetown could be considered an exception, so let's talk Penang, because YouTubers, including me, love Georgetown. It's stunning, there's street art, there's food stalls, there's little cafes that feel like Singapore without debt. But living in Georgetown is like living in a small town where everyone has binoculars. You're very visible, expat pockets are tiny here, everyone knows everyone, and you can only eat char kway teow 3 times a week before the charm wears off. Yes, it is lovely for a week, amazing for a month, but long term you start to notice that the dating scene is tiny. It's a thin nightlife, and the expat community is just a few hundred people. There's a couple international schools. I know people who teach there. This is what their life is like. If they're not families, it's a tough sell. Georgetown's perfect for older artists, writers, quiet couples, honeymooning food bloggers, you know, your Aunt Janet. But single retirees, extroverts, people leaving Miami, Penang could feel like a house arrest with some nice murals. The who's really moving here question. Let's be brutally honest. No one is actually leaving Miami or Dallas or Vancouver for Penang. If you are, tell me in the comments, that'd be funny. The people who thrive in Malaysia are usually long-term corporate workers, engineers, IT professionals, families with stable incomes, early retirees with a partner already. People who don't care about dating. I would move here to KL for good access to cheap condos and great international schools for my kids. If I was single, I wouldn't even think about it. Malaysia is perfect for someone who wants order, rules, low crime, no chaos, Western level malls, a slower, quieter life. But if you're leaving America, you want freedom, fun, community, dating, nightlife, spontaneity, a second chance at the reset. Malaysia's not built for that. So here's the honest question. Are you really selling your condo, your truck, your pressure cooker to move into a conservative society where nightlife is quiet, dating is limited, and cultural expectations are strict? For some people, yes, Malaysia is fantastic. I think it has some of the best food in Asia, and it's one of the safest countries in the region. It's great for families, great for couples, great for people who don't need the wild energy of Vietnam or Thailand. But if you're single, 45 plus, burnt out, looking for community, connection, freedom, a reset in your identity, trying to reinvent your life abroad, Malaysia is not your match. And that's why most people who want a second life in Asia don't pick Kuala Lumpur, don't pick Georgetown. They pick places where the culture fits their stage of life. And Malaysia, despite its strengths, just isn't going to be that place for most Western retirees. Yes, Thailand is still probably my favorite country for the majority of people and the one where most of you are going to go. So let's talk about Thailand. It's the most hyped country in the region. It's the dream, it's the fantasy, and it's the I'm gonna eat pad thai and find myself spiritually country. Here's the truth. Thailand is legitimately amazing, and it's absolutely the wrong choice for a lot of you, because for so many Western retirees, what they're looking for is the most affordable place where they're gonna get the best bang for their buck. And Bangkok is just not cheap anymore. Bangkok today is world-class, world-priced, and it's exhausting for a lot of people over 50. You know, in a good area, you're looking at $900 to $1,500 US a day easy. It's before you turn on the AC and watch your electric bill melt your soul. Bangkok's world-class everything. Rooftop bars, Michelin restaurants, malls the size of airports, a BTS system that actually works, nightlife that could power an Ontario generator. But here's the question you're not asking. If you're paying $1,500 a month for rent, why not just move to Tokyo? Why not Seoul? Why not Taipei? All the Asian megacities at this price point have better infrastructure and less chaos. Bangkok is incredible, but it's not cheap, right? Chiang Mai is a digital nomad zoo. I would have gone north 20 years ago to Chiang Mai. I did to go rock climbing, but Kicking Horse Buttress is over. Crazy Horse? What was it called? Remembering when Chiang Mai was this peaceful mountain retreat, you got to be old, man. The yoga and temple paradise, the I'm gonna write a novel in a cafe for 300 bucks a month place, I think it's gone. Chiang Mai today is tourists everywhere, retirees everywhere, backpackers and digital nomads pretending to be entrepreneurs, doing yoga, doing Pilates, filming themselves doing breath work, and just like my sorry ass, walking around everywhere with action cams. Buddhist Zen quotes from behind a MacBook. Every cafe is 50% influencers and 50% people pretending they're building a startup. Everyone's launching something, everyone's editing content, everyone's taking a break from the grind to work. But peaceful, authentic, cheap. It's basically Austin, Texas with temples in the East Coast for a lot of people and much, much better food. Sorry, barbecue lovers. Hua Hin is probably a real option. For a lot of suburban Americans, this is going to give it to you. The great Western retirement fantasy, golf courses, condos, quiet beaches, an hour from Bangkok. On paper, it's dreamy. In reality, it might be a little too like suburban America with humidity. You get neighborhoods that feel like Florida HOAs. You get malls, you get golf carts, you get early bird dinner energy. You get retirees living the exact same life they wish they could afford back home, just with cheaper massages and worse sidewalks. If you want a peaceful suburban life, Hua Hin delivers. If you want Asia, Xin Chao Chi. If you want adventure, if you want a cultural reset, Hua Hin will feel like a town designed by your accountant. Pattaya, let's fucking talk about Pattaya. I've never been and I'm probably not gonna go, folks. Jomtien maybe, but this place is pretend. I'm gonna be respectful, or at least try to be, truly, but I mean, there's judgment here. You can see it on my face. It has a reputation, it earned the reputation. It maintains that reputation daily, and here's the new twist nobody has expected. The Australians and British drunk dudes who've been running that place for 30 years are grumpy, they're upset, they're crusty. Why? Because they have company. Where's the company coming from? If you know, you know. I'm just gonna be honest. There's a lot more inbound flights from India. And some of the local, so-called local expats are pissed about it. They're complaining because Indian tourism is booming. And let's be real, Thailand tourism is down, so they need it. Indian bachelor parties, Indian guys in the girl bars. The OG Western expats are furious because they feel like someone else is showing up to their party. It's just reality, it's money, it's economics. But ask yourself, is this where you're retiring? Seriously. Is this where you're finding meaning? Is this where you want to spend your 60s? No. Thailand is amazing. I love Thailand. I visit often. I think it's one of the greatest countries in the world, and Bangkok is becoming maybe the best city in Asia. It's incredible. But for retiring, for long-term living, affordably, for safety, for 50, 60, and 70-year-old Westerners trying to reinvent their lives and reset, you're facing rising costs, tightening visas, overcrowded cities, smoky burning season, digital nomad inflation, and communities that are changing fast if you're going to spend $1,200 to $1,500 a month on rent. Anyways, why not live in a city with better air, public transport, better infrastructure, fewer backpackers filming themselves journaling in cafes? Thailand is fun, it's a vibe, it's an Instagram, but is Thailand where you build a new life after escaping America? Maybe not in 2026. If you know my channel, you know. You probably know where I am, what I'm gonna say. Move to Vietnam instead. And if you want my help, honestly, just skip the next section, skip the pros, the reasons, the cons, skip the whole love letter I'm about to give you to my home and to Da Nang. Instead, just go start my Move to Vietnam masterclass right now. It's a 60-minute crash course that walks you through your first 90 to 180 days on the ground in Vietnam. Visas, housing, healthcare, dating, all the stuff that actually matters once your plane lands. It's linked right below, but for the rest of you who are still on the fence, who want the long form explanation, let's talk about all the pros of my home and living in Vietnam as an expat who's adopted this beautiful country, and yes, a few real downsides too. So the cost of living here is the first thing we have to talk about. It's reality, whether you want to call it cheap, affordable, whatever. Vietnam is the last major country in Southeast Asia where the math actually works and you can still be safe and accepting and a part of a beautiful city. You can still rent a modern apartment in Da Nang or Saigon, eat out every day, get weekly massages, maintain a real social life, enjoy the beach or the city, and land somewhere between $1,000 and $1,200 a month per person. A super comfortable lifestyle, not surviving. Bangkok prices, no. Penang inflation, Bali overcrowding, not yet. Vietnam still runs on Vietnam prices, not foreigner prices. There's also safety and peace of mind. Walk at 2 a.m., no problem. Leave your laptop or phone on a table in a cafe. Someone will probably chase after you with it. Kids outside playing in the street, watch for traffic, that's it, right? The neighborhood watch is a babysitter in this country. Vietnamese people look out for each other, and that extends to you if you participate in the local economy. You can actually afford private hospitals in Da Nang, Hanoi, and Saigon, and they deliver excellent care at normal human prices. A checkup isn't a mortgage, an x-ray isn't a financial crisis, dentists won't send you collection, insurance is cheap, clinics are modern, and treatment is fast. It's not perfect, but nothing in the region beats Vietnam's quality to price ratio. There's community and connection. It's what nobody can tell you in a video because they can't explain it. Vietnam is easy to connect in. Vietnamese people are curious, warm, and social with foreigners and expats. They aren't hiding in gated suburbs. They aren't forcing expats into ghettos. They're at cafes, gyms, pickleball meetups, football on the weekends, language exchanges, beach workouts, and dancing. If Thailand is the party and Malaysia is the family dinner, Vietnam is a big communal table where everyone is still welcome. The energy is real. This is the part you can't quantify. Vietnam has momentum. You feel it in the air, you see it in every new cafe, every new building, every business. It's a young country. It's ambitious, it's optimistic, it's electric. If you want to feel alive again, Vietnam will do that for you. It is a great reset button for a lot of retirees. Okay, yes, there are cons because fair is fair. Vietnam is not perfect, nowhere is paradise. And anybody who tells you it is hasn't lived here long enough, they probably just got off a plane. So let's talk through the real issues. Your data is not yours here. Facts, Vietnam is phone first, app first, QR code everything, and every app and bank asks for everything. Your camera, your microphone, your SIM card, your grandma's maiden name. The digital privacy here does not exist, which is why, and I swear this is legit, I personally use NordVPN every single day, constantly on all my devices. I'm banking, using public Wi-Fi, connecting to American sites, downloading anything sensitive. NordVPN keeps my traffic encrypted and my identity locked down. If you're moving to Vietnam or even visiting, check out the link, nordvpn.com/EvanA. It's 77% off right now and linked below. Con 2, banking's a pain in the arse. Vietnam is an adventure for cash. It just always is. Cards don't always work at ATMs. International transfers can take forever. ATMs have withdrawal limits or weird fees. Some banks won't open accounts for foreigners without very specific visas. That's why I used Wise. I move my money from Canada and the US into Vietnam instantly and get the best FX rate and tap to pay everywhere with my phone's Google Wallet app. So I don't even carry the physical Wide card anymore. If you're living abroad, Wise is not really optional. It's survival for most of you. It's also linked below. Con number 3, the pollution, the trash, the weather. Let's be real, that beach doesn't look that clean right now. And that's because it's rainy season and it takes a while to clean up. So the north gets cold, the middle gets typhoons, especially here in Da Nang and Hoi An. We've had a very hard one, lots of flooding and tragedy this year. And the south gets hot and stays hot. And everyone gets those random air quality attacks. It's rough, right? Some days it is not great. I had moments where I hated living in Ho Chi Minh because the air was just poisonous. So you need to pick your zone and your place wisely because Vietnam is still developing. Sidewalks aren't perfect, traffic can be chaos, English is not universal, and government processes still require a lot of patience, multiple coffees, help from a local, sometimes emotional support. But that is part of the charm. It's something you have to be ready for. So ultimately, here's the reality, or at least my reality. If you're leaving America, if you're leaving the cost of living crisis, the burnout, the loneliness, the feeling that life is getting smaller and you need to get the fuck out, Thailand might be great for some of you, truly. Not for me anymore, to live, just to visit. Malaysia might be comfortable for family life or quiet retirees. Cambodia might be exciting for the backpackers and the adventurous, but Vietnam is still where people come to reset, where people get younger and feel younger. Vietnam is a second chance country for a lot of expats, and not just white guys and passport bros. Viet Qs as well, older people, of different cultures and classes. So if you want to start your new life right away, the link's below. My Move to Vietnam Masterclass, everything you need for your first 90 to 180 days. And again, for everyone else still on the fence, you can watch this video over my shoulder right here about how I actually retired in Vietnam at 40, my whole financial setup and everything. I'm Evan A. Thanks so much for watching. This is Da Nang, Vietnam.